Hey, this is Chuck, and you are listening to Fans with Bands, the podcast where we talk to the fans and the bands they dig about life, music, and whatever the hell else we want to talk about. Today on Fans of Bands, we're talking to Coyote Man. Check it out. Hey, this is Chuck with Fans of Bands, and I'm talking to Ian from Coyote Man. Ian, how you doing?
Hey, what's happening, brother?
Oh, man, I'm so happy to see you because... and I have to thank you and also welcome you back to Fans with Bands. But you sent me an advance copy of the Prosthetic Memories, the new album from Coyote Man. And man, it is so good. It was like just phenomenal. I mean, yeah, I have a lot of questions about it, but
Sure.
I just want to let you know that I love it and I can't wait for it to come out.
Thank you so much, man. Yeah, just you and a couple other, people we know that would like to hear it a little bit ahead of time. We sent it to. So actually, yeah, this is like the first official interview that we're finally talking about the new album. Yeah, man. Thank you so much for that. That means a lot.
Awesome. And we do have an audience member, a fan, who is Jeremy. He's muted right now because he's working on his bike. But Jeremy from Lucius Fox, who is
Hey,
an
hey,
awesome dude, and
we
he's
know those
listening
guys.
in.
Yo,
All
hell yeah,
right.
Coyote Man.
Fantastic. So in the new album is, like I was saying, just phenomenal. I have been listening to it over and over, and what I found, like what I love about Coyote Man in general, is just the cinematic nature of the music that you guys write, and that continues on the new album. But there are some new twists in there, but I'm curious, like from your guys' standpoint, did you feel like you made any major changes to how you approach songwriting or how you went about creating this album?
Um, every release is always going to be, I would say, a little different. This time around, I mean, we've always created songs kind of the same way ever since back in the high school days, because we've been jamming together since high school. So
Yeah.
we've always had that connection. And it's funny you say that because there's a couple parts on the new album, a couple songs that are actually like old parts from old songs back in the day.
Oh yeah.
So it's always kind of nice to have some old riffs or old ideas that you can kind of blend in with new stuff.
Yeah.
And obviously the band knows about it, but the listener doesn't. They're just like, oh, it's fresh to them. But we definitely so like for instance, the first song, Coping Mechanism, when it kind of gets into a more progressive psychedelic part, that riff that Augie's playing, that is an old riff. I'm talking that riff is probably from 2005,
Whoa.
2006. Like it's really old. So we always kind of jam that. And then when we were writing that song, that part blended in very well with how that song kind of came about. So again, but it's all over the place. Sometimes it'll just be a guitar riff. Sometimes it'll be just Renee on the bass coming up with something,
Yeah.
or me with the drums. But a lot of it, I would say, it's usually kind of formed around Augie's guitar riffs. He has so many riffs. So when a lot of practices will come in, they'll be like, "Hey man, I got this new riff," and then he'll play it, and then we kind of just jam something simple at first, and then
Yeah.
obviously it kind of grows from then on. So depending on if it's going to work for a part or if it doesn't, and that's the cool thing about being in an instrumental band, is even if there's like a really cool part, but it doesn't blend well with something, we'll save it for later.
Right.
That's why we record everything. Usually at practice, we always are recording new jams so we don't forget. So
Yeah.
that always helps. So yeah, this album has been, I mean, since our last release, it's been 4 years.
I was gonna
So
say like 2022, right?
yeah. So we really like took our time a little bit more. And also it's kind of funny because we were talking a couple weeks ago about this release, and all our stuff that came out, it was mostly all during COVID. So other than our first album, which came out in 2017, but when we put that out, we didn't know what we were doing. We just
Right.
released it to the world, and we're like,
Yeah.
yeah, whatever. But ever since then, all our other releases, they all came out during COVID.
Yeah.
So this is actually the first proper release that, you know, the world is open up again. So we're really like going all the way with this one. So
That's
yeah.
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
because 2022 was just that single, right? It was
Yeah, it was just a single. Yeah, and it
and
was
then you had Relics before that, right?
yeah, Relics, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. The little EP we did.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, as I mentioned, what I love is that cinematic feel in it, and definitely each of these tunes brings to me like some kind of um almost visual experience. Like when I'm listening to it, I'm kind of creating these visuals in my mind. And I'm curious, when you guys are like writing this music, are you thinking about those kind of landscapes and places, general activities that you think frame the music, or is it just like these are like these jams, they come together, and then afterwards is kind of a visual representation?
Yeah, no, I would say the jams just kind of come together, and then, you know, usually once we're in the studio recording it, that's when the fun part happens. That's when you could add, you know, interludes, and
Yeah.
because we have a lot of that. Pretty much all these songs kind of blend into each song, so there's a lot of interludes and stuff like that, which is really cool. Um, we kind of did that in the first album too. But yeah, no, they just kind of come naturally. And then, you know, usually after you record an album, you kind of finally get the vibe for it. And you're like, oh my God, this would be really cool if we had this sort of lighting going on while we're playing, or this kind of
Yeah.
visual and stuff like that. So, actually we're going to be coming out with a couple singles, and the song Zealotry, which is the heaviest song on the album, I would say, we're going to have like a visual music video
Oh,
that's going
cool.
to come out for that. So that's going to be really cool.
Awesome. What's so in terms of timelines? What's the time? I know you've mentioned to me, but for fans, like when is the first singles coming out? When's the video coming out? And when's the album coming out?
Yeah. So our first single is going to come out July 10th. That is going to be War Hatchet,
Nice.
which is the second track on the album. And then July 24th, our song Zealotry is going to come out. They're going to be on all streaming platforms. And then Zealotry is going to have a music video. And then the full album is going to be August 14th.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So it'll be available everywhere. And yeah, we're really excited. We're working with like a pretty big PR company, which we're really excited about, to really push this album. So
Cool.
yeah, we're really excited.
And you know, in terms of like physical media, what are you planning in terms of the release?
We have finally done vinyl.
Oh my
Finally.
God.
Yes.
Oh.
We're going to have vinyl and CDs. We were actually supposed to get the vinyl on Friday, but there's been a little delay. But we'll have them in a couple weeks, and yeah, we're gonna have them all at the show for everybody to purchase. So I'm very, very excited about it. Like, I don't know, I mean, it's vinyl. Like, once you put your stuff on vinyl, there's something very special about that, especially if you're a vinyl collector and stuff like that. But it's yeah, we're really excited about it. We're really excited about it.
Yeah. I mean, I love the fact, well, I mean, CDs are great because you have physical media just in terms of like being able to look at the artwork, which you have really cool artwork for the album. You know, the notes and that kind of stuff when you're like listening, you can kind of peruse. But there's something about, you know, that 12-inch, you know, disc and then having it on the turntable. And yeah, you know, when CDs first came out, you know, I was like, I had a bunch of albums and I started transitioning and getting CDs. And now that like you can get things on vinyl again, I've been like, oh, because there's certain albums I bought that I just like, you know, I just had the CD and I'm like, oh shit, I got to get the vinyl now.
Yeah, that's the same thing with me. All my CDs downstairs, I'm like, all right, what do I have to buy in vinyl now?
Right.
So it's kind of like it rewound. It went the other way, but I feel like CDs now are more of just like a collector's item. Like people just like to have it and probably just frame it. I mean, a lot of people don't have CD players anymore. Some people do, but a lot of people don't. And you know, vinyls, you could either, you know, I would say a lot a lot of people are listening to vinyl again.
Yeah.
And again, people might just buy it to listen to it. Some people might just buy it to frame it and put it up, you know? So,
Right. Right.
yeah.
Yeah. That's super cool. So in terms of you know, the new music, I enjoy like the whole album is awesome, and I'm curious about when you were arranging the tracks, were you going for a particular feel that you wanted people to have and a particular experience that you were hoping they would have as they were listening when you were putting the track mix together?
Yeah. So that was, I, the funnest part for me is being in the studio because that's where the magic happens.
Yeah.
We got to work with our producer Dan Klein again, who helped us. He did Relics and he recorded Worthy Adversary with us. He's
Nice.
just he's a good friend of ours, and he was literally the fourth member on this album. I mean, he really worked us hard, and it was such a great experience once again with him.
Yeah.
He's such a great guy, and he's full of knowledge on every aspect of instrumentation, editing, producing. I mean, you name it, he does it all. So that was the really fun part. When it comes to all the weird interludes, like the background noises and the sounds, a lot of that was I came up with.
Oh, really? Cool.
So there's one track, Interpreting Dreams, where you kind of hear like some like bugs and birds. It's actually cicadas, and
Awesome.
I'm always walking around with my phone, and anytime I hear like weird stuff, I'll just press the record button and I'll just record it, and hey, maybe we could use this for something, you know. And so that came from my phone, that whole idea. I mean,
Oh,
nowadays you could go online and you could find like
yeah.
bug noises and anything, but what I like about it is it's actual, like real though. Like
Yeah.
I
Like
recorded
you
it,
did
and then,
it. Yeah.
yeah, and then obviously, you know, Dan blended it in a lot with Augie's keys and synths and stuff like that, so it really blended well. There's also kind of like a chant at the end of Coping Mechanism.
Yeah. Yeah. I was
Um,
going to ask you about that.
yeah, that's funny story. That's actually from Hawaii when I was on my honeymoon. We were
Really?
at this yeah, we were at this event, and they were doing like these tribal dances and songs, and it was beautiful. And I just like put it on my phone. I was like, oh, this is cool. I mean, hey,
Yeah.
you know, so that is from that. So a
Oh,
lot of
really?
people,
Wow.
yeah,
Cool.
so some people are like, did you have that guy coming in the studio? I was like, no, I recorded that. And then there's just been some you know, a lot of weird stuff, like um I think at the end of War Hatchet, yeah, there's like a really like eerie synth, and then you hear like kids like playing in the back
Yeah.
room
Yeah.
and in like the background. I also recorded that when we were in Miami. It's on top of a hotel, and I was like, wow, this is like the sound of downtown Miami. So I just recorded it, and actually it kind of sounded like shit a little bit.
Yeah.
But Dan cleaned it up, and then Augie laid like a synth, like an eerie synth over it, so
Yeah.
it sounds like a beginning of like a murder in like a movie. Like it's like super eerie. But so like when all that stuff was happening, it was like super exciting. But it really came out more than what we expected. And I think that's, you don't really know until you get in the studio, and then you start working the magic, and you're like, oh wait, you know what? This song will connect with this song. We'll do a cool interlude here, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, that is the magic in the studio. We had a blast doing it. We had so much fun.
That is so cool. And I
Yeah.
love the fact that you like grab those like sound bites yourself as opposed
Yeah.
to like just trying to find them somewhere else.
Yeah.
I- when you were like, so let's take mechanism for a start. Like, how did you, I mean, what was the thought process in terms of like, oh, let's put this chanting here, right? I mean, it fits perfectly, but
Mhm.
I can't imagine that when you were recording the tune, you were thinking, oh, there's some, you know, kind of mystical chanting at the end of the tune. So what was it about it that
Yeah,
drew that in there?
we actually, before we recorded the album, we were using that live as just a cool interlude when we were playing
Ah,
live.
okay.
And the idea was always kind of there, but we were kind of like hesitant if it's going to go on the album or not.
Yeah.
And then what Augie put on, like what he was playing with the organs, whatever the key that vocalist was on, he was in key with what Augie was playing. So when Augie was kind of layering those keys with it, it was perfect. It went perfect. He was like, wow, he's actually in key. So
Yeah.
he knew exactly, what he was in. And then he just, like I said, he just added those those eerie, synths under it. And it came out perfect. Like we didn't even have to, it fit a lot better than we thought it was going to. We didn't really know it was kind of there. We were like, well, we could use it live, but
Yeah.
we could throw it on the album, but let's see until we actually record the songs and then see if it works. And it did. So it
Yeah.
fit.
Yeah, it does. It's very cool, and it's a cool transition into War Hatchet as well, because you're going from that, chanting, and then you get a little bit more aggressive tune. I mean, because the start of Coping Mechanism is kind of like jarring, right? It feels like
Yes.
a tense, and then it trails off with the chant, and then you go into War Hatchet, which is a little bit more aggressive, gets even more aggressive than Zealotry, and then you kind of bring things back
Yeah.
with the Interpreting Dreams. Um, so I was curious, in those, like, these titles for the songs, they, for me, when I was listening, I was trying to envision, or they created some of those visual aspects I was talking about in terms of listening to the music. Were you uh, just picking song titles? Like, what is the process? How did you guys think of that? What was
Yeah,
going
it
through your mind?
was. Yeah. Basically the idea was kind of a couple of years ago. I mean, it all comes in with the cover of the album as well. This was all actually kind of more Augie's idea. He's had this idea, when we started really working on the songs,
Uh,
and came up with Prosthetic Memories, and basically just it's kind of like Prosthetic Memories. It refers to like memories that were never really truly lived yet, kind of deeply personal. You could look at it many ways. You think of
yeah,
prosthetic, it's fake, but then you got memories on top of it. So there memories that haven't happened, or you could even look at it as memories that have happened, but over time they kind of change,
yeah,
because you forget exactly what. Sometimes people will forget what the actual story is or what the memory is.
right, right,
So it has a lot of different meaning to it. It's like borrowed fragments of emotion, imagination and experience, all in one. It's kind of, but again, it kind of leaves it up to interpretation for
yeah,
everybody. You
yeah,
could kind of make your own definition with it,
yeah,
but we really all like the idea. And it also just us being this band together since jamming since high school. Like there's
yeah,
been so many memories, a lot of ups, a lot of downs, but it kind of all blends together. That's kind of the idea of the entire album, just memories, I would say, in general. And that's going to go into you'll see the music video for Zealotry.
right.
You'll see more of like the photo aspect of the album. You'll see that in the music video. So
Cool.
but yeah, kind of all kind of goes together.
Yeah. So, for the music video, who did you work with? Did you guys have some ideas and work with a producer to kind of put
Yeah.
that together?
Well, so our buddy Mark, aka Chuck Clybourne, he's a good friend of ours, and he did like our Time Crystals visual video.
Oh yeah, that was
Um,
cool.
yeah, he's actually helped us live a couple times. He's a good buddy of ours. He's been in the music scene for a long time, and we definitely kind of gave him the idea of some photos that he's going to throw in with this visual, and he kind of wrote up this entire video idea, and it actually blended pretty well with what we wanted to add to the video. So we kind of all, it took a couple like conversations and emails, but once we got the idea figured out, and he drew it out, laid everything out, and it really like came through. So yeah,
Nice.
that's gonna be we're really excited when that comes out. That's gonna be
Yeah,
really big. So yeah, he's our buddy Mark. He's great. He's fantastic.
that's awesome. Yeah, I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to it because that's one of my favorite tunes. But my favorite tune though is Inadequate. I mean,
Ah,
that tune I love. Um,
yes.
what can you tell me about the background, for that song?
So again, Inadequate, that very beginning riff, Augie's riff, that is another old riff
Oh, really? Really?
that he just kind of had. And, we added that, the very progressive part, like after that. But again, like we had that one part and then it kind of, it blossomed. And that song reminds me of something that would have been probably on our first album because it's very progressive.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of changes, a lot of parts. And his guitar solo in that song is beautiful. Like, that's what Augie as a guitar player, he is great at, is, not having a singer. A lot of his chorus solos, like he is the voice. So his guitar really speaks in that song. I mean, you could hum it, you could sing along to exactly what he's playing. And it's a very catchy song, but it's very progressive. And it's perfect, like where it is in the album. And overall, we're just really excited because every song on this album has something for everybody. It has the progressive stuff, it has the metal stuff, it has heavy rock, it has psychedelic, it even has some like hip hop inspired beats in it. And then we also have a featured vocalist. So
I was gonna say
we got everything. We got a little bit of everything for everybody. So
right. So Faith in a Burning Room.
Yes.
I was like, wait a minute. Coyote Man doesn't have vocals. What's going on here? What happened? I felt like I sort of had that kind of flashback, like when, although there were more tunes with vocals on it, but Black Heaven from Earthless, when they'd done all these like instrumental, and then they put out Black Heaven, and it's like, whoa, Isaiah's singing. So who's doing the vocals on the?
Yeah, so that is our friend Chris Pacific. He was actually my friend for a while, like just within the Chicago music community. We were just friends, and one day he messaged me and he sent me a video of his old band. And he was like, hey, he's like, I know you guys are instrumental, but he's like, you should check out my old band. This is my vocals. He's like, if you guys ever want to jam, I would love to write a tune, with you guys.
Right.
And I was like, oh, cool. So I watched the video, and his vocals were amazing. Like, I was blown away, and I sent it to the guys, and they were like, yo, let's get him in and let's see what we can do. So he came into the picture, and we wrote that song with him, and it came together fairly quickly. Like I would say we had at least half of the song down. Like we had the idea of that song for him to sing on, just because it was a little bit more laid back. It actually had more of like a pop vibe, I would say, kind of like but like an 80s kind of vibe, kind of like the Smiths, like early Smiths kind of feel to it. So once he just came in and he wrote lyrics, and then God, I would say by probably the third or fourth practice with him, he was already hitting verses, and then he had the chorus, and very catchy, great songwriter, and he's a great guy in general. And I mean, even after writing that song, he's still like, hey man, you guys got anything else I could sing to? So he actually just finished recording his new solo album, Raised by Wolves, that's going to be coming out soon as well. And Dan, our producer, he produced Chris's album as well. So
cool.
He's got it's kind of like a goth pop vibe, but it's really good. Like it's really good. Blown away. Definitely check him out if you haven't. So
yeah, for sure. Hey, we've got another fan joining us.
Hey.
Can you hear us? I'm not
Who's
sure.
There?
Is that? Would you say that is Crizzle? Is that how you say that?
Crizzle?
Yeah, Krzyllyz.
Oh,
right.
Oh, you know what? I bet you that's Miguel.
Miguel?
That's our buddy. I think that's our buddy Miguel. Crazy Eyes. I'm pretty sure it's Miguel.
All right. Miguel, can you hear us? I don't think he can hear us.
He's probably out and about.
He looks like he's somewhere.
Yeah, no worries. He's probably just tuning in. He might not even be. Who knows?
Awesome. So, we talked a little bit about how you guys were, you know, building the songs and building this album. Um, was there any real like, I guess, did anything influence you outside of the music? And I'm kind of thinking like books or movies or any of that that was kind of factoring into what you were thinking about or how you were feeling when you were making the music.
Yeah, every time we take like a direction with songs, we don't really have like, okay, well, this song should sound like this
Mm-hmm.
because we're inspired by this. Like that, it doesn't really happen that way. We just, once we start jamming and once we know we kind of form something, or at least like one or two parts, we keep that, and then we just kind of keep building. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like Tetris or building Legos, however you want to look at it.
Right.
You take a small part of it, a small block of it, and then you just kind of keep building from there. Um, I would say all of us were pretty big into like movies and stuff, especially like me and Augie. Um, I've always told people I look at our band as a soundtrack.
Yeah, for sure.
Because anytime you watch a movie, there's always specific soundtracks that you will remember. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Especially like any Steven Spielberg movie, or any even we're big into like Blade Runner.
Yeah.
So there's always that like eerie. We always want to have like an eerie synth always kind of hovering in the background, but also like I'm a big horror movie fan, so we
Yeah.
have a lot
So
of like
some John Carpenter
creepy,
kind of thing.
yeah, John Carpenter stuff,
Yeah.
exactly, stuff like that. So
Yeah.
that's always, I feel like, going to be a little bit painted into our songs here and there. That's always going to be kind of there.
Yeah.
But again, we always like pushing limits and going into different directions. That's kind of like Faith in a Burning Room. That definitely, like, because it's interesting once you work with a singer, because as an instrumental band, you can make your parts as long as you want, because you don't have to worry about a vocalist or
Yeah.
how many lyrics he's singing. So when we sat down with Chris, we're like, okay, you have this many lines. Okay, we can only play this verse this long, because that's how long he's singing the verse, and
Right.
then
Right.
going in the chorus. So it was great. It's fun. So that's what's kind of cool about being in an instrumental band. We could always, I think, as we move forward, hopefully we'll probably have another feature or two, on the next release. Who knows? Like
Yeah.
we're always open to it, so as long as it works and fits, I
Yeah.
think we'll keep on doing that. And yeah, I mean, and again, with just writing an instrumental, I think it just comes in a lot of different forms, a lot of shapes and sizes, and whatever happens. Sometimes we'll write a whole song and then we'll just scrap it. We're like, I don't know about that one. It's like a B-side, but like I said, we'll use parts of maybe that song later on with a new song.
Yeah.
You just never know. So yeah, we're always all over the place. We don't really have like, we don't lay down like a specific like idea or plot. We just start with one song and go from there, and then whatever works, whatever doesn't. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So, when you're going back to like older riffs and ideas from are you actually like trying to do you go back and like all of you listen to some old stuff just to get some ideas, or so here's what I'm thinking, like you've got maybe, I don't know, three-quarters of a song pretty much, but you feel like it needs something else. Do you like go mine the vault and haul out some stuff and go, I wonder if any of this will work?
Yeah, sometimes, not all the time, but
Yeah.
occasionally, yeah, like, or one of us will come into practice and be like, oh my God, look at this old video. And we're watching it. And we're like, man, I remember that song. Man, that's still a good riff.
Yeah.
And then, we'll use it. And again, like that blended in with Coping Mechanism, that really psychedelic riff that Augie
Yeah.
put in there. I mean, like I said, that's a really old riff. And it wasn't like we like were searching for a
Right.
riff. It was
Right.
just like, it just came about, and he was like, oh, maybe it'll fit in this song. We're like, oh my God. And again, like that song is super intense, and then it totally takes a right turn and it goes
Yeah.
into that riff. So it totally brought a completely different, vibe of the song in general. I mean, that song could have been just straight a heavy banger the whole time, but it didn't. We took a right turn, and we've always kind of done that. A lot of our earlier stuff is like that, and even like Inadequate, that song, it's more raw. Like Inadequate sounds like three guys playing, because there's no like synth work or anything like that. That's why I like that song.
Yeah.
How it is. It's just very raw. It's just three guys jamming, recording a song. That's who we are. So
Right.
Yeah.
When you guys are in the studio, are you playing live, or are you doing like a one day drums, one day guitar?
Yeah, no, we with Dan, we did all play live, but we would still pretty much record each instrument differently.
Yeah.
So once we laid down like a track, like he would record all of us, but if it was just for drums is usually the first to go.
Yeah.
So I'll do as many takes as I want until I feel happy with whatever take we decide. So yeah, usually, but he will record everybody. Sometimes, even if Augie's rhythm guitar is like perfect in the take for the drums, Dan will still keep that in there. And then later on, if we want to change it, Augie will just layer that guitar, or he'll just do it over, however. But yeah, we pretty much record all of it live. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Kind of going back to the cinematic theme, have you guys ever like been approached or sought out to actually have your music in movies?
Chuck, let me tell you, man, that is all we want at this point. Like, we don't see us being like a universal touring band that's going to tour the world. That's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
But the best thing I feel like for our band to happen is to be on a soundtrack. Yes, we have definitely sent our music out to a lot of different companies. I've actually even spoke to a couple directors, actually, because I'm like I said before, I'm a big horror movie fan,
right?
And I went to one of the horror movie conventions, and I'm sure the movie Terrifier with the clown.
Yeah.
So I actually met the director, Damien Leon, and when we met him, I got to talk to him for like 20 minutes. I gave him a Coyote Man shirt, and then I gave him a card, and I said, hey, like, I'm in this band. I'm like, we get told a lot that our music would be great for like a horror movie soundtrack or just, whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, thanks, and like, I'm always out there trying to like just push our music. And I'm like, yes, it would be nice if, even if it was like 10 seconds of a song. I mean, you never know. I mean, you see these, shows on Netflix, and they're like the introduction to the show or whatever, and you hear the song, and I'm always like, oh my God, that could be us. That could be our song, like just something like powerful. Because we do have these like cinematic parts that would fit very well.
Oh yeah, so many.
Even for video games,
Yeah.
Like we are told that all the time. And
hell yeah.
It's just getting it in the hands to the right person.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's very hard. It's a very like specific thing, because also it's like, I think a lot of producers for shows have their own way of getting music. So like they've
got a guy that they go to. Yeah. And that's what they do.
It's in the end, it's about who That's what it is. So it might take a minute. I mean, you never know, but for us, if that ever happened, that would be incredible. That would be one of the biggest things I think that we could accomplish as a band, to be on like a soundtrack. That would be amazing.
Yeah. Horror or sci-fi,
Yeah, 100%.
Thrillers. I mean, some of that music. It would be perfect. Man. Yeah. Because I've thought about it, in listening to this most recent album, I was like, my God, this is soundtrack stuff,
Yeah.
I even like, I think it was, the hell's the name of the tune? Holographic Heirloom. I was even thinking like, this could be in one of the scenes from Dune, And
like,
like, this is it. We're in the desert, with the, Muad'Dib, and it's like, yes, here it is.
Dude, Chuck, I appreciate you saying that, because that's what I tell everybody, because, still, I think there's still a lot of people that don't understand instrumental music, and that's fine. But people that do, like, yes, like that's like, yes, we would love to be on a soundtrack. Like that's the easiest way to look at our band.
Yeah.
Like, what's your favorite movie? What is your favorite soundtrack to a movie? And somebody will tell you, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, that's our band. That's what it's, like
there it is. Yeah.
we got some like epic parts, and I think it would work beautifully. But again, it's just getting it to the right person, and if that person's actually interested in it.
Right.
It's there's so much music nowadays. I feel like a lot of it gets lost. There's so many amazing bands out there, local bands, and that deserve a lot more attention than what they get. So.
Yeah, it's a tough thing, but I think the more, someone telling somebody, that still I think has legs in terms of like getting into, into something like that, because just having somebody talk about you, being passionate about your music, and then somebody else is passionate about it. Those handful of folks can, I think it's still important, but I know what you're saying, because it's the same way with almost any type of media. You get
it is
lost, right?
And we have these conversations all the time, and I always tell the guys, I'm like, we still haven't played in front of the right people. Like I mean, obviously the music industry isn't what it was 20, 25 years ago.
Right.
You can't, it's not like you're going to play a show and then afterwards you get signed on a label.
Yeah,
Like that is just, it's gone.
Yeah.
But I still feel like, especially a band like us, who we haven't even played West Coast or the East Coast.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of spots that, I mean, that's why we're still we're pretty much unknown. And I think once we hit different points, you never know. Somebody could be there that is a manager for another big band, or somebody who works in the movie industry and is like, hey man, like I tell the guys that all the time. I'm like, that's why still playing live is very important. Obviously you want to play in front of an audience and people that are fans of you, but also it's just, it's by word of mouth, like you said, that's what the fans are for. They're going to help you. They're going to spread your music to other people. And that's what's so beautiful about music, so you never know what can happen. But we're with this album though, we're pushing it as far as we can, man.
That's cool. And are you planning, related to that kind of promotion, are you planning to do like some touring outside of, the Chicago area, maybe hitting some festivals or something like that?
Oh yeah, we're definitely playing more out of state shows. We're only doing 2 Chicago shows, and obviously the one is for our album release at the end of August, and then we're playing in West Chicago around Halloween. But everything else we're playing in Michigan. We're going to be at Fuzz Fest on August 29th.
All right.
But that's not announced yet, but I'm announcing it now. So all you Michigan people out there, because we love you guys. Seriously, like Michigan, we love you guys so much, and you guys have been like just extremely supportive to our band, and you guys always treat us so well. And I mean, bro, I met you. You're the one that hooked us up with Fuzz Fest. So I mean, shit, man. Like we owe you a lot, dude. And,
well, I'm stoked that you guys are going to be there again. And now that helps me make my plans, because there's 2 shows on the 29th, and I was like, oh, do I hit the last night of Fuzz Fest, or do I go to this other show? Because you never know. Some days you're like, oh, this other show might be really cool. And they're both local, right? Yeah. But now you've just cemented the deal. I know what I'm doing.
August 29th. And then in September, we're playing in Detroit for the first time.
Oh, wow. Cool.
So we're playing at a fest up there that hasn't been announced yet. And then we're still waiting on another date. I think we're going to be playing in Lansing. Oh. So we're still in the works with that. But we're playing like, I think 2 or 3 Michigan shows. So
awesome.
We'll be there.
Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know, well, I'll find out about the Lansing show. I was wondering if it was that, can't think of the venue.
It's still being booked.
Oh, okay.
So we're still we pretty much have a date locked down. We're just waiting to hear back from the guy that's putting it together. So
cool. Very cool. Yeah. You should you guys should play in Grand Rapids sometime too.
We've played Grand Rapids
at the Pyramid Scheme. Have you guys played there?
we are we are in contact with the bookie
Nate?
at Pyramid Scheme.
Yeah.
Just nothing has fell through yet, and like I said, it's hard playing at a venue like that when
Yeah.
nobody knows who we are. So it's
Right.
like,
Yeah. You got to find
hopefully
some
we
good
can.
locals that you're on
Yeah,
there. Yeah.
exactly. So hopefully something will work out in the future. We definitely want to play there. We're definitely in contact with the bookie there, and
Yeah.
he's actually a really cool dude. So I think we'll at some point. I just don't know when.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, you were talking about the fact that you guys have been in, jamming together since you were basically in high school. Um, what keeps you motivated? What is it about doing this that keeps you feeling like, yeah, I want to keep making this music?
It's staying passionate. You have to be passionate about what you're doing, especially now that we're in our 40s. Some of us have kids. We all have jobs. I think it's just, coming out of the reality of the real world that we're all living in. And then we all come together in this one room and we create noise. That's always been very special
Yeah.
with us. And it helps. I think it kind of keeps a good, it levels us out. I mean, if you're having a bad day or whatever the case may be, you go in there. Like for me, drumming is a workout. So I'm
Yeah.
all going crazy. All my endorphins are going crazy, and it makes me feel good. And you kind of enter this different world of creating. I couldn't imagine not being in a band. I don't know what I would do, but it's definitely staying passionate. You have to be patient. You have to agree and disagree. You always kind of have to hear the other member out,
Yeah.
depending what the decision is. I mean, I would say that I'm a pretty impatient person, but I would say within the last couple of years, I've been, I think, a lot more patient than I used to be. It's some, like, there's always up and downs, but all three of us, I think we're still very passionate on creating music, and there's just something special about it. And the beauty of music is it lives on, so
Mhm.
once we're past and gone, our music won't be. It's still going to
Right.
be here.
Yeah.
And that's something beautiful. Like you're leaving something in the world for everybody to have, for people to listen. And whether or not, if it's just the small amount of people or a lot of people, it doesn't matter. Like, it's there. We
Yeah.
planted that seed, so
Right.
yeah, there's just something really special about that. And especially now that, we're all in our early 40s, because we laugh. We're just like, man, I can't believe we're still doing this. I can't believe. I think we started getting serious a little bit too late, because in our late teens and 20s, we just partied. We didn't really book shows. We didn't, I didn't listen to the Click or In Ears.
Yeah.
we played on, our crappy instruments, and just had fun.
Fun.
But
Right.
we started getting serious, in our mid 30s, and we always laugh about that. And we're just like, oh my God, if we were doing what we were doing now in our 20s, might have been a little different. But
Right.
you
You
can't
never
really.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you never
Yeah.
know. So but yeah, we've just been through a lot. And like I said, the early days, we had a couple singers too. So we used to have vocalists and stuff. and
Right.
and then the instrumental stuff didn't really start till, I would say, like 2006, something around 2005, 2006. That's when it was just the three of us.
Yeah.
And then we were kind of just on and off over the years, and then we formed Coyote Man in 2015. So yeah.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Um, you when you were talking, I was thinking about the fact that, you guys had been friends for so long, and it that I think that truly does help, right? Because you've known each other for that period of time. And I wonder if you ever think back to like those, like we were just talking, those early times, and like well, one, you mentioned the experience of just like we were fucking around when we were younger, but later we were like, oh, we should just like treat this more seriously. Is there one kind of like thing that you took from the time when you started playing until now that has stuck with you, that's resonated, like something you learned or have picked up over time that you think, oh yes, this makes sense to me?
Yeah, being a little bit more serious in my playing, I would say. Um, the early days, I played in a lot of like punk bands and, did covers of like Nirvana and Green Day. And like, that was like my way of drumming.
Yeah.
So I would say just back then I didn't take things as serious. I was immature. When you're young
Yeah.
and dumb. You're not really, you're just enjoying the moment. You're not,
Right. Right.
But now, now that we're still doing this now, you kind of just realize that like, wow, like this is a special thing that we are doing and that we still have the patience to do it. And obviously it's a whole other relationship. It's like, it's like another marriage when you're in a band, and sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. But we're still making it work. And that's what's important, because if we didn't care, this would have ended a while ago. You know what I'm saying? So it's really special that we're still doing it. I would just say that, yeah, I wish I took it a little bit more serious when I was in my early 20s. I wasn't even wearing earplugs. Like I was so stupid. And but now, even playing to the click to the Metrodome, like I was totally against that. And then I eventually learned it. Even when we recorded the first album, I hated it, but now I love it. I love it. There's something about that, you could have arguments about this with musicians all day, because I could see from both sides, but I also think it kind of depends on the music you're playing.
For sure.
I mean, if you're in a punk band, you don't need a Metrodome. No. But if you're in, more of like a progressive rock band, I would say it definitely helps.
Yeah.
And also just, in those early days, right out of high school, I would say I was a little bit more closed-minded with music. I didn't listen to as many different music.
Mm-hmm.
I was into like the new metal and the punk of that time. Like that was it. But I would say like the one band that really changed everything for me, even the way I played drums, was the Mars Volta. I mean, the first time I heard Delirium, their first album, that was it. That was the game changer. Because when I first listened to it, I didn't understand it. I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
Like they sound, I mean, you could hear the inspiration, but they were just on a different level. And I used to play in this punk band, and that was around that time too. And I was just like, Jesus, this is a whole other level. It's like, I don't even know. It's like hardcore punk blended in with like Rush. And I always say like the Mars Volta is like Led Zeppelin on coke. Like that's what they are. So
that's a good, that's a good
like
analogy.
they blew my mind. And I think that was a huge inspiration for my playing after that, because I just wanted to play fast and whatever.
Right.
But once that, and then I tried to like play along to some Mars Volta songs, that changed the game. And I really think that kind of helped me open up more to my playing with like just certain fills and stuff like that. And just like offbeat stuff, progressive stuff. I never played that kind of stuff until really listening to them. So that was a big change in my early years with that band. Yeah.
Awesome. There was another band around the time of Mars Volta that I was trying to think of when you were talking. If you had listened to, well, I'm sure you've listened to them, but if they had any influence, and I'm blanking on their name. They did a song called "The One Arm Scissor."
Oh, that's the same guys.
Yeah, I thought, isn't it? It's the same,
it's
guitarist, right?
Yeah. That was at the drive-in.
At the drive-in, yeah.
At the drive-in. That was their band before Mars Volta.
Oh, okay, all right.
That was a little bit more like punk. They were like more punk, I would say. And then when they broke up, then they formed the Mars Volta, and that was just like, I mean, people. Again, you could argue about those two bands all day too, but I've always been more of a Volta fan. I've always loved the Volta. But same guys.
Yeah.
Same guys. So.
All right. Because I was like, man, when you were talking about that, I was like, Mars Volta was somehow like tangentially related, and I'm like,
Yes.
what is it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
well, and when you were talking about like how you guys, how the music will live on, and what keeps you motivated, a friend of mine mentioned about something we were doing and said how cool it is that you just create something out of nothing. And that's exactly what you guys do in terms of your
Yes.
music. Is like
Yes.
it is there, it does not exist until
Exactly.
the three of you come together and make it. It's just
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
mind blowing sometimes when you think
it
about it.
is. And that's, again, that's the very exciting part, especially when once you got a couple parts connected and you're like, oh my God, this is going somewhere. This is
Right,
working,
right.
like, again, I think that's why we keep doing what we're doing, because it still excites us.
Yeah.
And that's special, I mean, especially when you get older, I feel like there's never ending ideas, you just got to keep creating, you got to keep yourself busy, writing songs, whether if
Yeah.
it's just the beginning of a drum beat, or, a little bass riff, or a little guitar solo, like, yeah, something out of nothing. Like you said, yeah,
Fantastic.
there's something really cool about that. And then again, like, once that whole song is put together and made, and then you create a batch of songs, and you're like, all right, I think we're ready to record an album. You go in the studio, and then you, like, because all the recordings that you have is like really raw, and it's just
Yeah.
like from your phone or something.
Right.
But then once you actually go in the studio and record it, you're like, oh my God, like, it's a whole other layer of what that song is.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, because it's very stripped down when you actually finish the song. But then once you go in the studio and you have a really good producer, and you're really laying down the parts perfect, it becomes a whole other monster.
Yeah.
And I mean that in a good way. So it's really exciting. I love being in the studio. I could record all day. Like,
Yeah.
it's just so fun. And then, yeah, and working with Dan Klein again, like, he even helped us on some parts. Like, there was literally, in Coping Mechanism, there was one part where I was doing this drum fill, and there was something weird about it.
Uh-huh.
And Dan plays every instrument. An amazing drummer.
Wow.
And he literally helped me with one of the fills for one
Oh,
part, just
awesome.
to make it. And the fill is something like that, something I would never play, but he gave me the idea. He's like, why don't you do this? And then I did it. I'm like, oh my God, thank you. And then that's what's recorded on the album, and it's freaking awesome. Like,
That's
it's yeah. Recording is such a fun, it's just a fun ride,
yeah.
because all the people they're not there to see that. But once you have the actual mastered version out, you're like, oh my God, like,
Yeah.
but we put in all this work for that, and it came out exactly, how we wanted it, or even
Right.
better. You just, yeah, like I said, we experimented a lot on this album, and we had a lot of fun. It was a blast. It was a
That
blast.
that
Yeah.
is cool. I uh I've only been in the studio a couple times, but it was super easy to go down a rabbit hole in terms of like just because it sounds so awesome.
Yeah.
Like when you're in there, it's just
Yeah.
like so good. Like
Yeah.
you can never get, well, at least I couldn't. I could never really truly replicate the tone of the guitar that I got recorded versus what I played through in shows. And I'm like, oh, well, I just we just bring people here,
Yeah.
just fuck around and
Yeah.
do it here, But yeah, so I know what you're talking about with the,
Yeah.
the studio.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, love it.
It's a beautiful thing. It really is. It really is. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, Ian, thank you again so much for being on Fans with Bands. So the first single, July 10th?
10th. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. War Hatchet, July 10th. Zealotry will be the second single that will be out July 24th with a music video. And then our full album will be streaming everywhere August 14th. And then we are having the album release show in Chicago at Liars Club August 21st.
Awesome.
So
And,
we're
yeah.
we're getting there, man. We're getting
And
there.
then
We're
the
almost
29th, you'll be at Fuzz Fest.
and 29th will be at Fuzz. Yes.
We're putting it out there. So
Yeah.
and I know
Yeah, it's
Chris,
gonna be
so
really
he's all
fun.
he's all good with it.
We had such a fun time last year at Fuzz
Yeah.
Fest. That was such a blast.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is. And he's the last time I saw it, so Chris did a show like at the Pig it was in the winter. I missed it unfortunately, but he's up the game in terms of like the visuals,
Oh,
and projector and stuff. So
okay.
yeah, it could be exciting for this year for FuzzFest. So
Sweet. Awesome. I'm very
yeah,
excited. Yeah, that's such a great venue too. And I know it has a lot of history. I remember reading, I think that was Nirvana's first sold out show when
yeah,
when they were just started touring, and
yeah.
that I was like, oh my God, I got all giddy. I'm like, we got to play here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, I can't wait for the album to go on sale because I'm definitely getting a copy.
Oh, don't
And
worry, dude. We will give you one.
oh,
Don't worry.
no. I want to
We got
support the
you. We
band.
got you, brother.
I want to support because it's great music, man. And
Yeah, thank you, man. I
I'll be-
appreciate that.
so this will be coming out in a couple weeks, and then I'll be just shooting out everything about Coyote Man because I love you guys, and plan to do a review. I just haven't written it yet, but
Yeah.
that'll be coming too. So anyway.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Yeah, we really appreciate all your help and support, man. Because if it wasn't for people like you, man, I mean, we would be nothing. So it really helps, man. We really appreciate it, man. Everything you've done for us, man.
Awesome. All right, man. Well, thank you again, and thank you, Miguel, for joining in and checking out the thing. And we'll see you soon.
Cool, man. I'll see you, man.
All right. Peace.
Have a good one, dude.
Bands are nothing without you, the fans. Purchasing music and merchandise is critical to their survival. If you can help out your favorite bands, please do. If you're in Michigan, consider following the Playing in Detroit Area Tonight and SE for Southeast Michigan Music Facebook pages. They are fantastic places for fans and bands to support each other and share our combined love of music. Thank you all so much for listening. Be sure to hit subscribe on your favorite podcast service to get each and every episode of Fans with Bands. Spread the word by rating the show, telling your friends, telling your neighbors, telling your family, telling your priest, tell everyone, and leave a comment. We want to hear what you think. You can keep in touch by following us on social media. This is a Life in Michigan production. Until next time, be well and kick out the jam.